Yeah, what's good, people? We're back at it for another week, another episode. You know what it is. What's the word with LJ Mental Podcast? So, as I'm your host with the most, LJ, back in here for another week. Um, it's a new day. Um, we're almost in the end of a month of 2021. Uh, and starters, we got a new president. It's Inauguration Day. Joe Biden and Kamala Harris being sworn in today. Um, and I don't know who've been paying attention, but I saw this morning Trump leaving the White House, being petty. Said he already said he was not attending. He was not attending the inauguration, and that he was gonna leave early, probably get out of Dodge, get out the way, whatever you want to call it. But yeah, he left in his chopper, gave a little speech to his crowd or whatever, and then hopped on the plane to I guess go down to Florida, to where I guess him and his wife living in Florida. Um, and the best to him. That 4 years is over. That it's a new day. Um, Whether you for Biden or not, Trump, I think majority realized he had to go, especially after what happened down at the Capitol. Like that shit is crazy. And what I noticed, like I've noticed racism throughout my years, but with this Trump presidency, I think people are really being very blatantly open about it. That's the difference. And the saying I've had, and I've heard other people say it too, and I actually tend to agree with. I don't. If you're gonna be racist, at least if do it to my face. At least I know what I'm dealing with. I like my racist. Do it to my face. I at least know what I'm dealing with. Don't be sneaky and say something nice to me and then do some sneaky shit behind my back that's extremely racist. At least if you do it to my face, I know what I'm dealing with. I prefer that way in all walks of life. I don't like fake, phony people. I'd rather you be authentic with me. Whether you a piece of shit or you a good person, I at least want to know what you really are. I don't like fake phoniness, but I think with Trump in office, the real racist people are really out in the open. Like they're really being blatantly and openly racist, and that's always been in play, but it's been at an all-time high, and it's been crazy. Um, that has been at an all-time high. Uh, and at the end of the day, we got a new president now. They're being sworn in, and this ain't the end now. This is really just the beginning. Um, and whether you believe in president or not, and for good reason, I think a lot of people just don't trust the government, trust politics at all for good reason. I have my doubts myself, but we still got to be on a head. Like, listen, we still got to get shit done around here. Like, this fight is far from over. So if you got plans in place, we need to come together, no matter what your beliefs are, and we need to get things done. Like, cause yeah, this is just the beginning. Like, this ain't just no damn celebration time. Like, oh yeah, this is the end of it. No, it's just from the beginning, man. Um, I think day one, Biden said he's have some policies in place that's gonna take effect. But we need to see more of that, especially with some policing acts. I personally think we need to retrain all the officers. I doubt that happens, but as long as we take some steps forward, let's start there. Uh, but we just gonna see. So just know you had to cover that real quick. And I'm gonna get into my word of the week in a minute. And obviously, you gotta acknowledge too, MLK Day was earlier in the week on Monday, so it was an important week, obviously. And we got Black History Month coming up, and I'm gonna be talking about some things, um, probably all February related to Black History Month. So be on the lookout for that. Uh, but today, um, I just want to real quick about MLK Day. And obviously his birthday was on the 15th, so it was reserved for that Monday around his birthday or whatever. But what does MLK really mean to the community as a whole, to the black community, to the American community as a whole? Um, and when you look at, it's just wild because MLK obviously is a very important figure. Some people believe he could be the greatest leader in this history of this nation. That could be true. Um, and we always know what his philosophy was. He was about equality. He was about really for, he wants to see little, like, his speeches, he wants to see little black boys and black girls mixed with white girls. And like, he wants us to all be together. Which is the opposite of Malcolm X's philosophy, where he didn't want segregation, he wanted separation. Where why do we need to mix with the whites? If they don't like us, we don't need them. We build our own shit, our own black businesses or black banks, black grocery stores, black everything. And we don't need them. That's Malcolm X's philosophy. He started, I think, changing his tune a little bit, but that was mostly his philosophy. MLK, on the other hand, obviously he wanted everyone to come together and peaceful, and he believed in nonviolence, obviously turn the other cheek. I'm with the equality part of it, not so much the turn the other cheek part, because some of these white folks need to learn a lesson. These extremely racist white folks. So I believe in Martin Luther King Jr.'s philosophy of equality, but I don't mind Malcolm X and obviously with some of the Black Panther philosophy of we don't go looking for trouble, but we will whoop your ass if you try us. Like, cause honestly, it looks to like it's like if you got a bully in school, right, and keep picking on you, right. If you whoop his ass, he ain't gonna mess with you no more. You might get suspended, but sometimes you just gotta send that message to let people know you're not fucking around. Sometimes that message gotta be sent. Like, I really believe that. Like, you gotta let people know you're not fucking around. Not that you want to do harm to somebody, you really want to be peaceful, but you gotta I really think it's a fine line between certain things. It's not all black and white. There's some gray area. Like, people aren't just one thing. And I believe, yes, sometimes you gotta show people you ain't playing. You ain't nothing to be played with. So I'm a believer in folks' philosophies, and but overall, okay, obviously what he did with the civil rights movement, very important. Still to this day, we still got a long way to go, and it will be interesting to see what his take will be today. Obviously. MLK died in 68 in his 30s. So he'd be a much elderly man if he was still alive today, but it will still be interesting to see his take on today's society. When he done basically every black neighborhood in the nation has a MLK Boulevard or street. And I'm not sure how it was designed back when they started making those streets. It's always in the really poor, disenfranchised neighborhoods at those streets, and not really in a thriving neighborhood. That I don't know how I feel about that, because it's great that he has a street in every nation, but why is it always in these neighborhoods? These neighborhoods might have not always been like that. That I don't know, but at the end of the day, if you notice that, we still got a long way to go from what Martin Luther King Jr. was fighting for. We made some strides, but we still got a long way to go. Will we ever get there? I don't even know what that means, to be honest with you, because I think racism and capitalism will always be part of definitely American society. We've gotten a lot better, and people are coming together, and we're starting to recognize things do need to change. But yeah, we still got a long way to go. And my word of the week is recognition. The reason why it's recognition is because I think it's about one. You really need to give people their flowers when they're here. And one of my favorite lines in hip hop is a song that Biggie Smalls made, um, and it really resonates with me. It's a song, "You're nobody till somebody kills you," and in the chorus he says, "You're nobody till somebody kills you," and it's wild because during people's lifetimes, and then they die, they're celebrated like 3,000 times as more. And the point that I'm making is here is I think some cases we starting to keep recognize people more, and we do need to give not just famous people, but people in your lives, like give them their flowers while they're here. Appreciate what they do for you. Appreciate who they are as people, people that's good to you in your life. Like genuinely, like treasure. We gotta treasure that. Like, um, and I'm talking to myself too as I say this. I need to do that. Give people flowers while they're here. Like seriously. And like MLK too, like he was a perfect example of that. Like there was a poll before he passed away, and his daughter came out and said this recently, that he was that he was one of the most disliked and radical people in the world during his lifetime, and he passes away, and all of a sudden all these people love him, and all these white folks saying how great he was, but them white motherfuckers wasn't saying that to him when he was alive. Like, where was that love then? Where was his flowers then when he was alive? Well, like, why? Um, that's fake love too. Like, that's not real love. And it's not all white folks, because we had some white folks that were with us on the front lines during the civil rights movement. We had to have allies to get things accomplished. And some of the white folks realizing what racism and what these people are doing are not right. You have to have some people say like, "Oh, this isn't right. Let me do something too. I realize that you're hurting. Let me help you." And somebody actually giving a fuck about another human being that doesn't look like you, is a different color from you, actually giving a damn about their well-being. So yeah, we definitely needed help, and this is but yeah, it's fake love and admiration because it's easy. It's the popular thing now, and I think even you look back. I'm not comparing Colin Kaepernick. I'm not what I'm gonna say is not in comparison, but it's funny how Colin Kaepernick took that knee for police brutality especially against black and brown people, especially against black people. Uh, how he was so hated by half of the country. That don't do that on your job. Some of them don't think you should do it at all. And some of them were saying like, "Oh, this isn't the right place." Well, hey, you such an expert. I've always said, and it seems like nobody even to this day still had an answer. If he wasn't gonna do it then, when he had a lot of eyes on him, where the hell was he supposed to do it? You don't have an answer. If you don't have an answer, shut the fuck up. That's how I look at it, seriously. That's not the place you should do it. Why not? You have such a huge platform. All these eyes are on you. Why not? And you're a major public figure. And I don't know. I don't understand it. And now we're looking back on it, and more people are starting to come around and say, like, "Oh, maybe he was right what he was doing." Yeah, you got some people that still leaning towards the other way. But don't do it way after the fact. What about it then when I needed you? Like you was a no show. Like don't come around now when shit is already didn't hit the fan 20 years ago. Where was you at then? Like that's just whack to me. I don't like fake love and fake admiration. Like that's what the point I'm trying to get at. Even with Ali, right? During the time where he didn't want to fight in a war, said, I don't want to go over there and kill those people. They didn't do nothing to me. They not the ones over here calling me the nigga and word like you my enemy. They'll call talking to the white folks. Y'all my enemy. Them people in Vietnam, they ain't do nothing to me. You're my enemy. Why do I want to go over there and fight them? and he was looked at as such a controversial and hateful figure, and they took away his title. He couldn't compete for 3 years of his prime. He could have got killed back then. He was in a very dangerous state. He did, like, it's crazy, and he was hated then. And then years later, Ali is celebrated. So that's another example of a fake admiration of like it's the popular thing to do now, to say, oh, he was such a great person. But you look back on it, then he was like, so those polls were leaning towards, like, I guess 75% negative and not in his favor, just like that Martin Luther King Jr. But yeah, I think it's important to give people flowers while they still here, while they still can smell them. My mom even said, "Give me my flowers while I can smell them." My mama tells me that. But yeah, as a whole, people, we just need to give flowers while they're here, and recognition. And another good example of that, I think we could do, is Dr. Dre, right? He was in the hospital recently, having brain aneurysm. We didn't know how serious it was. He was there, I believe, a couple weeks. Could be wrong on that, but I think he was there for an extended period of time. And I'm like, oh no, not Dre too, man. We just lost Kobe almost a year ago. I'm gonna talk about Kobe next week. But yeah, I'm like, come on, we can't have Dr. Dre too. We just lost Kobe. We just lost Chadwick Boseman, all these great figures. Like, no, not Dre. Like, you can't have Dr. Dre going too. So, but it seems like he's gonna be all right. Thank God. And Dr. Dre, he's still here, and he's one of the greatest figures, if not the greatest figure in hip hop history. I say that because he's a perfect example. I think people give him his flowers, but yeah, he needs, Dr. Dre definitely needs to be celebrated. Look at what he's done. He's put so many people on. And whatever he's done in the past, I'm not gonna bring up none of that shit, any negative shit, because Dr. Dre is a living legend, and quite possibly is the most important figure in hip hop history. The reason why I say that is because he's basically been around so many different movements throughout the years and has been successful and grown even further with each one. And he's still doing that to this day. Like, he's been around for so long, from the world class wrecking crew, which isn't as big time as obviously, which came after NWA, which was a huge movement. Him and Eazy-E and Ice Cube at the forefront of that. Dre with the beats, Ice Cube writing the lyrics, Eazy-E the front man or whatever. And obviously you got MC Ren and Yellow, but Dr. Dre was such a huge part of that. Things didn't go too well. Dr. Dre branched off, got with Suge, created Death Row. Death Row, which was honestly, I think, bigger than NWA. And then he put on Snoop Dogg, who became probably the most well-known person outside of maybe The Rock in the world. And Snoop Dogg, with his success, that's all coming from Dr. Dre. And then Dr. Dre took a huge risk in it by signing Eminem, like, because white boys wasn't getting the credit and respect in hip hop like that. We was looking at like this art thing, like, and like the white boys was whack. I mean, Beastie Boys has some success, but Eminem took it to a whole nother level that Beastie Boys were not even close. Yeah, and then even Eminem said it that Dr. Dre risked his career for him by taking a chance on him, and it paid off big time. Like, look at what Eminem has become. And then obviously, I think it was more for Eminem that brought 50 Cent, but Dr. Dre had a lot to do with that. Signing the guy from the East Coast, him being from the West Coast. Now, obviously, Dr. Dre working with Nas in the firm, but Nas obviously was already a big time guy before that. But Snoop to that era with the Death Row, and then Aftermath forming with Eminem, and bringing 50 Cent along. The Game, who's become one of the greatest MCs ever. I was Kendrick Lamar, even though Kendrick was with Top Dog first, but he signed with Dr. Dre and did a lot of help with him. And then obviously the movement with the Beats by Dre movement. Really become a movement, not just some headphones like Apple Music bought them out, I believe the company, but that's really become another movement. So Dre need to be celebrated, man. Dre, to me, might be not the greatest rapper ever, definitely to me the greatest producer ever, and also the most important person in hip hop history. Because look at what the man's track record is. Like, he's done too much not to be like. I think more so than Jay-Z, more so than Kanye West. I'm the only people I can think of that's even close. Like, Dr. Dre is the most important figure in hip hop history. Like I'm glad Dr. Dre's alright. And yeah, he's celebrated. You shouldn't be waiting till somebody's gone for them not to smell their flowers while they're here. I switch gears a little bit. I want to talk briefly about Conor McGregor. Real quick. We're talking about the UFC real quick. Boxing. Not boxing, but UFC. Conor McGregor's getting back in the ring this weekend. And he's only fought, if you look at, ever since he fought Floyd Mayweather in the boxing match, I guess that was the biggest payday by 10 times what he used to make. He's only been in the octagon since 2 times after that. Like fighting once every year and a half, something like that. And he's stepping back in the ring, and at one point, I know he got arrested, and Dana White said he's probably might not compete again, but he's back. And I'm not the biggest Conor McGregor fan, but he's entertaining to watch. And he can be funny, he talks shit. I like shit talkers as long as they can back it up. I've always liked. Some people don't like shit talkers. I guess they feel like disrespectful to their craft. Or I love it. Bring all the shit talk, as long as you can back it up. That's my only thing. If you gonna run your mouth, make sure you back the shit up. That's me personally. I love the good shit talking and the good fight build up. I think it's hilarious and funny. But yeah, I'm gonna look at this fight and see how you do. I'm interested in this fight. I don't know where he is right now because I know he had issues with Khabib. Gave him some trouble last time, but we gonna see how this fight is with Conor McGregor. I'm gonna watch it Saturday night. I don't know about y'all, but I'm gonna check it out and see. Should be interesting to see. But yeah, I'm looking forward to that. And last thing before I get up out of here, I think I spoke briefly about this in a previous episode, but talk about it a little more. Mortal Kombat movie reboot. Anybody that knows me knows I'm a huge Mortal Kombat fan. I think Mortal Kombat, I've said this, you might disagree with me, I don't care. I think Mortal Kombat is one of the 3 to 5 greatest human inventions of all time. I really believe that. Obviously, there's been some really great inventions that have benefited society in many, many ways. But Mortal Kombat is to me the greatest game of all time. I love it. Now we're talking about the movie. The first movie was really good. But the knock on it, I think a lot of people agree that no blood, not rated R. When obviously the games is rated R. Like, why is the movie not like that? But still good action. First movie, second movie didn't do so great. It's pretty whack. But they rebooting it. Um, I don't know if they're gonna have a trailer, but it comes out April 16th. In some theaters, and it's gonna be on HBO Max. I'm looking forward to that. Can't wait. Definitely gonna look at it. Um, but it's finally gonna be rated R. So I'm looking to see how they gonna do that. Have some fatalities. I've seen some pictures of what Sub Zero looks like, Liu Kang, Kung Lao. And it's funny that Kung Lao wasn't even in the movies back in the day, in the 90s. But I guess it looks like he's gonna be in this one. Uh, so it's gonna be real interesting to see. I've been a huge Mortal Kombat fan for years. Was a fan of the first movie. I even liked the animated series. I think was actually very underrated as well. And I know they've had some spin-off like series with it as well, with Quan Chi and some of the other people or whatever. That didn't do so great, I guess, and but yeah, and they even had a little web series, Mortal Kombat Legacy or whatever. That was pretty interesting. But you talking about bringing back the movie though, like it's big right here. So we gonna see how that goes. I'm gonna be looking at it. Can't wait to see how that goes. And yeah, I'm excited for that shit. So we gonna see how that goes. So, but yeah, the main premise of this episode, I guess that was a little nostalgic too. But main premise was recognition. What I was talking about earlier, with the figures that's important to us, not just celebrities, but people in your lives. Give them their flowers while they're here. Appreciate them. Not just one day, not just on holidays. Um, you need to show them that we love them, especially in this time right now where we going through this, still going through this pandemic. I think we really need each other, and recognition is important. Yeah. So yeah, that's gonna be it for me this week. Be back with another episode next week. And this has been another episode of Soror LJ Mental Podcast. Appreciate you for listening. I'm out.